everybody, I'm about to do a video diary. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about me, then do please stay tuned. So ever since I started this series and have been going through the photographs at my dad's house that I received as part of my inheritance, my past has really been whirling around in my head. And I believe that this tale needs to be told so that as to may help someone else. Before I get started, I would like to remind you I have been in recovery since 1997. That was the year that I got saved and delivered. I have a very great life now. But my life wasn't always so. So let's get started with another video diary. Okay, I think I left off somewhere around the very first part of my marriage when I was young. I had gotten pregnant and I married my stepbrother, so his mother and my dad were wed before we were. And I had gotten pregnant a year and a half after he and I started fooling around with each other. So our parents said that we had to get married, and we wanted to get married. It's not like they forced us into anything. And so we got married, and the beginning of our marriage was tough. When I was raised, we were poor. The day that my brother got run over in the road, that I tell you about in Video Diaries number 1, we were having fried green tomatoes for supper because that's all we had. We had nothing else. That's why my mom told my brother and I to go back down to the store and call my aunt and tell her that when she brought the kids over for my mom to watch, that they needed to bring some food. I was poor growing up. I don't know if that has any basis or not on how things turned out, but that is a fact of my life. And so we got married, and my ex-husband in the beginning was a tree surgeon. He was a plumber for a time. He was just a normal guy, except he smoked weed. I can remember before we got married of him going out back. We lived in East Gadsden in a house that had a little apartment out back in a garage apartment, I guess. But he would go back there, and he would come back with bloodshot eyes, just stoned out of his mind. And I would cry because I was raised that drugs were horrible. I knew he was out there smoking weed, and I sometimes would cry, and it didn't matter what I did. It didn't get him to stop smoking weed, and eventually, hell, I just joined in. It wasn't his fault, though. None of this is his fault. It's my fault. I'm the one that lived this life. But anyway, so we started skipping school, hanging out in the back of the Pinto, and there were no more drugs when we first got married. I really didn't have to worry about things like that. We did smoke a little bit of weed, but I don't even classify weed in the same category as I do other drugs because there is no comparison. You know, weed and cocaine are miles apart. Excuse me just a moment. Sorry about that. But my views on drugs may be different than other people's views on drugs. I just pretty much think marijuana is harmless. Don't crucify me in the comment section. So we got married. We lived a normal life for years. Except he ran around on me. He left me one time to go get a loaf of bread, and I didn't see him for 3 months. This is whenever we were, Jonathan probably was 3 months old. my son. So we had both children. But yeah, he comes in one day and he says he's going to go to the store and get a loaf of bread. He left to go get a loaf of bread and he didn't come home. He didn't come home and he didn't come home. And I had this best friend in Birmingham. Her name was Teresa. Uh-oh. Her name was Teresa. I'm going to have to bleep that out. Okay, I'm back. So her name was Teresa. And I was crying and squalling because he had left, calling her all the time. I don't know where he's at, what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. This went on for months. Then he came back. We got back together. I later found out that the entire time that I was calling her squalling, my best friend, he was there. He was living with her. Yes, he was living with my best friend. And she was talking to me in confidence, trying to console me with my ex-husband sitting right there beside her. Oh, what a tangled web we can weave. So, the first time he ran around on me, it was with my best friend. I wanted to stomp her butt because she knew that we were married. Now, I usually don't take it up with a woman because God only knows what a man has told a woman to get her to go with him. You know, well, we're not in love, and, you know, they could be madly in love, or we don't sleep together, and they could be sleeping together every day. You know, so my trust in a man was shattered early in my life. I had not even reached 20 yet. And I had my son at 19, and this happened right before I turned 20. All of this did, so we got back together. And we moved to Birmingham. Eventually, we moved from Gadsden to Birmingham to live in a rental house that my aunt had been living in that we took over when she moved out. That's where I lived the very first time I did cocaine in a syringe. I shot it. I called my stepmom and told her that my cousin was down there playing doctor, that she needed to come get Stephanie. Jonathan wasn't born yet. That she needed to come get my daughter Stephanie and take her home and take care of her while we were doing all these drugs. She came and got her. She came from Gadsden to Birmingham and picked her up. Now, I don't remember how long Stephanie stayed with her, but we went out on this drug binge. We were getting Mexican Quaaludes from the house next door and shooting those too. With the cocaine, I lost 7 days of my life. I don't know what I did. I do not know what I said. 7 days of my life were gone. I remember sticking that needle in my arm and knowing who I was 1 minute, and 5 minutes later, I did not even know who I was. I don't know if I used the bathroom. I don't know if I ate. I didn't come to, you know, with feces or nothing all over me, but my God, I don't, you know, and I've done that so many times, and I look back on it now, and I'm like, you know, why would a person even want to live their life like that? I don't know. You know, when God came to me that night and delivered me, there was an awesome, awesome thing that happened, because whenever your initial outlook changes on things, you want your stuff to be different. And my outlife and my opinion on what life is supposed to be versus now and the way it was back then is immense. There's a precipice in between it. So, we're shooting the Mexican Quaaludes, and we're shooting cocaine, and we're having a good old time, and my daughter's at my stepmom's house with my dad. And we come out of that. A few weeks later, I find out that I'm pregnant with my second child. Yeah. I put all of that dope and all of those drugs into the fetus of my second child. I didn't do any more drugs after that. And I worried the entire time that I was pregnant what my kid was going to look like when it was born because of what I had done. So I lived the next 7 months in a horror story, expecting him to come out with just a few toes and fingers and maybe missing an eyeball, or it was terrible, terrible. And I've been talking 10 minutes, and that's where I'm going to stop. I'll pick up where I left off last time. Everybody be safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you in my next upload. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And I'm going to my oldest granddaughter's birthday party today. See how different life can be? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.